We're gonna go get Greatheart and reset his shoes, and we're gonna give them a little bit of the fruit of their labors. They worked hard to plow the ground to plant watermelons, so we're gonna give them a little bit of a treat. So let's go try to find him, and we'll bring him into the barn and reset his shoes. We found Truth. We're looking for Greatheart and Standfast. Are you ready to eat a watermelon? Take a big bite. They have a hard time getting it unless you cut it open.
Try to stomp on it.
Stomp on it, Truth. Come on. It's like an ostrich egg. Okay, Truth. Here.
You don't think she's gonna eat the whole thing before the others come?
Yeah, it's okay. I've got others, watermelons, I can bring them later. That sound kind of puts me to sleep. It's very restful. Growing up, we didn't have TV or video games, so sometimes I would like lay in the field and just watch the horses and listen to them for hours. Looks like we found them. Whoa, good boy. Whoa. Looks like Truth about cleaned up that watermelon. Whoa. This is a little health tip. What's one thing that you can do every day that doesn't cost you money that will improve your health? Well, there's many different things that would improve your health that don't cost you money. But one thing that you'll notice is a young horse or a young dog doesn't stretch. But you'll see older dogs, older horses stretching out they'll get up and they'll stretch out a leg, or they'll stretch out. They instinctively know that they need to take the time to stretch before they get up and move. And sometimes we get busy and we don't think about it, but if we would take a little bit of time to stretch, it would really improve our health. Now, why does stretching improve your health? I don't fully understand why or how, but I know that one aspect is that stretching improves your circulation. The Bible says that the life is in the blood. So whatever is going to promote the circulation of your blood is going to promote your health and your life. So if you have a horse, a very easy way to stretch your back is to go about like this, and you just hang and just stretch out and stretch your back that way. And like there's a certain point at which the stretching hurts, so like you don't want to stretch so far that you're like really hurting yourself, but there's kind of like a balance where like you want to stretch as far as you can, but you don't want to like force yourself to stretch so far that you hurt yourself. So at one point I was having lower back problems, and then I started trying to be mindful of just taking a little bit of time to stretch this way, like I'm pulling this arm with this other one, and so it's stretching my spine as well as everything here. You stretch one way, then you stretch the other way, and then try to keep your knees back, no bending of your knees, but your knees back here, and then try to touch your toes on the floor. Some people can go like this and they can put their hands to the floor. I can't. I can touch the ground, but I can't. I don't have the stretch. And then you can stretch this way as much as you can. I used to be able to stretch and touch my head to my feet, but I can't do that anymore. And then you can stretch different ways. I worked for a Mennonite farmer doing like no tractors. It was all horse-drawn farming. And every morning he would do stretching exercise, every morning. And like if he didn't do his stretching exercises, he would have, whoa, whoa, whoa. He would have so much back trouble if he didn't stretch that he wouldn't be able to work. So he had pain, but like the stretching was what helped him to keep from being incapacitated. Some of you may not be familiar with like mounting bareback. So there's like a technique back. So you can see here, see how he's standing? That he's got his feet. And so sometimes if he's standing in that way and you get on him, it gets him a little off balance, so he'll move when you're mounting him. So it's better to square him up, back, back. And if you, back, there you go. If you square him up a little bit first, then he's more balanced for you to get on him, and then you're going to have, it's best if he stands like a rock when you get on him. And then you jump, and what I do, if I jump, and then I use this elbow and push myself up. All right, let's go to the barn. If you're riding bareback, you can put them down in a ditch, and then it's easier to mount them. If they're in a ditch, this is a fun way to mount them. I can't do that though from the ground. I've tried. Alright, so we're going to shoe Greatheart, and for those of you who have not been shoeing a horse before, this is a shoeing apron, and you definitely need to have a shoeing apron if you're going to be shoeing. And you want to make sure that your hoof knife is sharp. The sharper your knife is, the safer it is for you. And snap these. I used to like hold the nails in my mouth, but it's not the safest thing, you know, like in case if you have a horse that like jerks and throws you down or something. So it's nice if you have a magnet to hold your nails. And I usually roll up my sleeves because I like my cuffs get in the way of this sometimes. We've done other horseshoeing videos. The last one that we did was with Aaron Atz, and that was the last time that I was shoeing Greatheart, was when he was here. All right. I'm missing something here. Okay, so the nail comes up through the shoe, through the bottom of the shoe, comes up here, and then it's bent over. When it's bent over, it's called the clinch. So this is called the clinch cutter. And so we'll lift up. Oh, and also it's recommended to wear boots when you're shoeing. And so if you're shoeing your horse, do as I say, not do as I do. But if you have a gentle horse and you like being barefoot and you're comfortable with it, you can do as I do. But So we've got our clinches here, and this is the hammer, like a mallet, and so that straightens the clinch out. So sometimes it cuts the clinch off, or it bends the clinch. It's just so it's no longer a clinch, it's straight. And then these are the pull-off shoe pullers. And so we'll start on one side, and you go down towards the toe, and then you on this side, and you just work it a little bit. If you yank one side and just over like that, you can chip off a piece on one side. So you kind of want to work it evenly off. And you don't want to throw it there and then accidentally step on it. So for safety, put it up here. This is a hoof pick. You clean it out. Chewing on the concrete. He must need some calcium in that limestone. Okay, this rubbery triangle shape is called the frog. And Jesus is an amazing creator. And this rubbery is a rubbery structure. Here, Annie, there's a treat for you. They love to eat the frog. So,
like, do they literally eat it?
oh yeah, come. Autumn's scared to come over here. Come on, Chloe. Come, Chloe, come. Come, Chloe, go. Yeah, they'll eat it like it's a piece of meat. Are you ready for some Spartacus? Here. Spit. Here. Come, Spartacus. Oh, yeah. Yum.
Autumn's ready now.
Nothing goes to waste. Now, it's really important, like, you can trim the sides, but if you go too deep, they will bleed bad. And it's very important you can get the sides and a little bit on the top, but you don't want to go too deep. These structures here are called the bars. You can trim those back a little bit. And then I'm going to go and kind of flatten this out. And then there's kind of a technique where you're holding it here, and then you're using this hand, so you're not straining this one to push the knife. It's a technique where Spartacus, is he blocking the camera?
No.
Okay. So see how I'm holding it here, but this is the power that's pushing it. So that way I don't strain one hand or one wrist. Okay. And then these are the hoof nippers. With a horse that's pulling, like when he's pulling a log or a heavy wagon or something like that, it's better to cut the hoof at a steeper angle, or have a steeper angle. Like a riding horse, like a Tennessee walking horse, the angle wouldn't be as steep. So you cut off more heel and maybe leave more toe on like a Tennessee walking horse, like for their front hoof. But then for a workhorse, you want to leave more heel and take off more toe. That way the hoof is steeper of an angle. Now, it looks like this heel is maybe a little bit shorter than that one, so we can probably take off a little bit more heel there than here. He's very affectionate. He's nuzzling me, grooming. They'll groom you where they'll kind of caress you or kind of itch you a little, like they'll itch, get the other's itch out. One time I freehand climbed a 200-foot cliff with no ropes, and people were asking me, like, do you train for this? And I was like, no, but I shoe horses, and that it develops your grip strength for it. So if you want to be a rock climber, free solo rock climber, just shoe horses and keep your grip and train your grip strength. So here I'm kind of pushing the knife with my thumb, so I'm not straining like this way with this hand, but this thumb is pushing, kind of like a lever action. You can use a round chainsaw file to sharpen your hoof knife. Also make some diamond files that work pretty good. Whoa. Oh. So it's a little bit like sighting a gun. You sight down it, and to determine, is one heel longer than the other. Looks like we're pretty even. And then it's important that you go at the toe here, and you cut this back. So if you don't use your knife like this white line area will pooch out, and then your shoe won't lay flat enough. So trim that out a little bit. Then we have a sharp edge here. So we're gonna round that sharp edge a little bit. And then when you do this side, you can lay your rasp in like that. Ambidextrous. Okay. Now we've got our nails here. So I just wrung off the nail. So it's a stub, and then I just pop it out. I've never been picky about where these have fallen, and some people are pretty particular about not letting them drop, but I was shoeing horses for somebody. He's like, don't let those drop. They're going to poke the holes in my lawnmower. But I don't have a lawnmower to worry about that. So.
No, but you have a bush hog.
Yeah, I do have a walk behind bush hog. We got that for the trails, to maintain the trails here. Walking trails. Okay, so we had a couple nails that are in there, but they broke off. And so this clinch cutter has a little point at the end. And so what I'm going to try to do is punch these out.
On your leg?
Yeah, it's protected with the leather.
So you don't even feel like pressure?
It doesn't hurt. Feels like a massage. Okay. So we have our nails out. Then we have one here that's filled up with dirt. So we're going to use a nail to punch that dirt out. So this has what's called Drill Tech on it. It's carbides that are brazed on. Without this, if the horse is pulling a load on a hill, they'll lose traction, they'll slip out, and they can go down on their knees and hurt themselves. So this provides traction, and it also prolongs the life of your shoe quite a bit. And if you're riding your horse on the pavement, like galloping or something, or trotting, or moving fast, and you don't have this, my friend Eli Yoder was like galloping a horse without Drill Tech, and to go chase some cows, and the horse fell down, lost traction, fell down on the road, and broke bones, and he had to have rods and surgery, and it was horrible.
The horse, or
The horse fell down on top of him.
Oh, okay.
And if the horse would have had Drill Tech on, or some other traction, some people will drill a hole in the shoe and then put a carbide stud in it instead of this Drill Tech. But it's really important that if you're going to take your horses out on the road pavement and make them go fast on the road, it's really important that you have either Drill Tech, Boreum, or studs, or some kind of traction for the horse. Also, like one time there was this four-wheel drive 40 horsepower tractor that got stuck in the snow, and my horses pulled that tractor out, and there was ice on the road, but this provided enough traction that even though there was ice and packed snow on the road, they could pull that tractor out. So in wintertime also, if your horses are out on the road during wintertime, if you have Drill Tech, you'll have an advantage. It's called Drill Tech because well drillers braze this onto their bits. So it's just it's a product that comes from the drilling industry, but us horseshoers benefit from it. So we're going to get some nails. And we're going to use some regular head number 6s. And it's important that you use the right size of nail, because if you use too small of a nail, then your shoe's going to come off faster than it should. If you use too big of a nail, it can split the hoof a little bit, so there's kind of a balance as to what size. But sometimes when you pull a shoe off, it's been on there for a while, and so it's the nail hole becomes too big, and then the nail hole the nail will have some play in it, and then a shoe can work loose that way. So if the nail hole happens to be too large, I take it on the anvil and I'll hit it until it closes that hole up enough until that nail will seat in there tightly. Oh, here it is. Just checking for sizing, making sure this is going to work. So when I was like 13 years old, my dad told me, "Oh, you're earning money now, so I'm not going to buy any more of your clothes or any more of your shoes, and you're going to buy your school books." And so I started shooting my own horse because I was like, wow, like this cost me a lot of money. Dad got us a horse, but he said he did carpenter work in exchange for a horse, and then he said, "Here's the horse, but you're responsible financially for the horse." So I learned to shoe horses when I was 13, and I was like, it's just like, yeah, it took me like 4 hours to shoe the horse, and it was just physically I could barely do it. And it's a challenging thing to do physically if you're not built up to it. But I started shooting my own horses when I was 13. I started learning. Randy Mullins and Jeff Dawson taught me, and then I learned from others too, but they were the main ones. My dad told them, well, when you're teaching Titus to do it, we're taking up much more of your time than if you guys would do it, and so we need to give you more money than normal, And they said no. They said just pay us for the rate, and we just want to teach Titus. And they took a lot of their time and invested it in me, and they passed on a skill that they had to me, and they didn't have to do it, but they chose to do it. And I often think of them when I'm shooting horses, and the patience they had with me, and the investment of time that they gave in, of giving of their time and their energy and their skill. And so I'm very grateful for them. And for you viewers, if you have a skill, please pass it on to the young people that want to learn it. Don't let your skills die with you. Okay, so you want to check and make sure. See, there's some kind of rocks there. So it may be that my shoe is a little bit out of. Okay, yeah. So one of these heels is sticking up more than the other. So I'm going to go to anvil, and I'm going to correct that. I used to shoe mules and horses for Eli Yoder. His wife said, "Yeah, I know. I know whether it's Titus or whether it's Eli in there, because when Titus is shoeing, it's like, and when Eli's there, it's like." She's like, "I could tell by the ring who it is." So I think we got him even there. It's kind of like sighting a gun. You just look and make sure that everything is a level plane. And if you'll curve these up just a little bit, it's helpful. And you can do that by tapping it right there, and that'll curve it up just a little bit. Okay, I think we're ready now. Okay. It doesn't rock anymore. It lays on there evenly. So now we're going to start. So if your shoe fits the horse correctly, the nails do not go into anything that's alive, and they're not going to feel the nails. It's not going to hurt. But if you're sloppy and you don't shape your shoe to conform to the outside there, a nail can be in the quick or the alive part, and then you can seriously injure them. Or a nail can be in there and there can be a low-grade infection in there and it can abscess. Very critical that you shape your shoe to fit. You shape the shoe to fit the hoof. You don't shape the hoof to fit the shoe. Now, I'm proud to be... Hey, he put me off balance there. I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. So, here in America, you can read a book, you can go to your neighbor and learn to shoe a horse, and you can go out and shoe horses. But in Europe, if you don't go and pay for the training and the license, then you can go to jail for shoeing. So even shoeing your own horses is not allowed unless you pay for the expensive training and get the license. So Europe is more of a police state, and I'm grateful that here you don't have to have a license to go shoe horses. Now you should know what you're doing so you don't hurt horses, but a license is permission to do what would otherwise be illegal to do. So I never understood why a person should get a marriage license, because why would you get permission from the government to get married? And what interest should the state have in a marriage? And there is no such thing as gay marriage. Marriage is only a man and a woman. Okay, so this is called the clinch block. And so those nails went in and I twisted them off, wrung them off, and then we held this right at the end of that stubby nail. When you hit it, it bends the nail a little bit and it helps to tighten this up. So now we're going to put the hoof down. And then you'll want to bring the camera over to this front side. And we're running out of light. You're a good boy, Greatheart. Some Belgians are really hard to shoe because they're just so big and rowdy, but he stands nice and calmly. Good boy. Oh. Easy boy. His breath smells really good. He doesn't need to brush his teeth either. Hey, come up here. Whoa. Without brushing his teeth, his breath smells really good. Alright, so we use a dole rasp and we go underneath. Come on, boy. Up. Come on, up, up, come on. Hey. So we go underneath the stubby nail here. That forms a little bit of a pocket, and then we he's showing signs of it, like the affectionate. Then we make a little pocket, and then okay, I have to go get my clinchers. I left them over here. So these are called the clinchers. Some people call them alligators because they look a little bit like an alligator. And so the purpose of these is that you have the stubby nail, and then when you clinch it, that stubby nail will go like that. That clinches it. Like clinching the deal. That's where the idea of clinching the deal came from. Okay, so come on, come on, come on. So this is the finishing up the job. We're tightening it up. It's a done deal now. Easy boy. Okay, so now that they're clinched, we're going to take our dole rasp again and just kind of lightly go over top. We've got just a little bit sticking over in spots. Easy boy. We're going to round that off. So you have one rasp that's dull and one rasp that's sharp. One rasp that you use when you're not around metal at all, and then the dull one you use when you're around the metal. So you keep your sharp one sharp, and then the dull one just kind of stays dull. But it's important to have two rasps, and that way keep your sharp one sharp. Okay, well, that's 1 foot done, 3 to go. Getting dark, so we will close up the call it to a close for this time. But yes, to the viewers that are watching this, think about what skills has God given me, and is there someone who has a willingness or an interest or a desire to learn a skill that I have. And these two men, Randy Mullins and Jeff Dawson, took time to teach me. They were patient with me. They were hard on me too. Like, you didn't do that right. You got to do that over again, you know. But they were patient with me, and they successfully passed down a valuable skill. And because they took that time, it has saved me thousands of dollars. I've been able to help horses that were lame. I've been able to help my neighbors' horses. And so just the time that they took has impacted other people. So I just want to encourage my viewers, ask God to show you what skills that you have. Ask God to bring people in your life that you can pass those skills on to. And then we can impact the world and impact this new generation in a positive way for God's glory. And if young people could just learn skills and spend time and learn these skills, focus on these skills, we could cut down on crime in our country. There's just so much idleness where children and teenagers just have all this idle time, and they're not busy doing a skill or learning a skill, and then their idle hands are the devil's workshop, and they ended up doing things they regret. So this is my encouragement, to ask God, show you what skills you have and how you can pass them on. God bless you all.